Hello, my name is Nicole, and today I'm going to talk about social interaction. My first example is experience at home. At home, there are times when I fight with my brother, which eventually causes conflict. It is considered conflict because when I fight with my brother, it means we have opposite opinions, which can lead to hateful attitude. In this situation, there is deviant behavior because instead of listening to our parents by talking to each other nicely, we fight loudly and break a rule, which is keeping our rooms quiet in the morning. After fighting, I usually apologize for my mistakes and we forget about the problem and continue the rest of our day. Next is my experience at school. At school, there are times where me and my group partners have different ideas for a group project. This eventually leads to conflict because when we argue about a certain thing, it means that we disagree with each other's opinion and we start to have hateful attitude towards one another. In this situation, there's deviant behavior because the teachers expect us to work together, but instead we are arguing. After the argument, I usually try to hear them out so we could agree or integrate both our ideas into the project. Next will be the rules and expectations in home versus school. In home, I have a rule that says no fighting in the morning because when we fight in the morning, it's chaotic and the day has just started. Next is study hard before using devices. The reason for that is because we need to be responsible by studying hard and then we can start to use our devices. Next is clean up after our mess so we can learn to be disciplined and learn how to clean our mess up. Next is at school. At school, we need to treat each other with respect so we can earn respect as well. We need to treat others the way we want to be treated. Next is pay attention while someone is talking. The reason for that is because we can practice to be disciplined and learn how to respect others when they are saying their opinion. Next is only talk during discussions. The reason for that is because we can learn to be patient and listen to others while they are talking. Next is about emotional reaction. At home, when I fight with my brother, I usually feel really mad. In this situation, I would be annoyed because he is bothering me. I end up being mad at him for most of the day, but end up forgiving him. Next is at school. At school, when I argue with my friends, I also feel mad. The difference is I wouldn't get mad at them. I would just be mad and stressed, but I feel bad being mad at them. Next is consequences. At home, we usually get scolded by our parents because we need to learn from our mistakes. Next is no going out. The reason for that is so we can think about our actions. Next is no devices, so we can also think about the reason why we did a certain action. Next is at school. We get scolded by a teacher, so we can learn from our mistakes and fix them and also apologize to others. And there's also warnings, so we can be more aware of what are we doing and what should we stop doing. Next is detention, so we could reflect on what we have done. Next is communication style. At home, when I fight with my brother, I usually speak with a louder voice. The reason for this is because I feel comfortable with the environment. It is also because the things we fight about annoys me more than the things I argue about with my classmates. Next is at school. At school, I usually argue with my classmates. I speak with a softer voice. The reason for this is because I don't want to unintentionally hurt their feelings. It also is because I want the argument to finish quickly, which means I have to stay calm. Next is respond to deviant behavior. At home, we get warning from parents, scolding from parents, and we're told to apologize so it prevents us from doing these actions again. Next is at school. We get warning from teacher, calm the students down, ask both sides what happens so we can figure out the problem and see who's in the right and wrong, and we can end up apologizing to each other for each of our mistakes. So after reflecting about both of these situations, I have decided that these are disassociative interaction. So, my experience at home, which is fighting with my brother, and my experience at school, which is arguing like classmates, they are both considered disassociative interaction. The reason for this is because they both involve conflict, which means my brother or friend has a different opinion than me, which can lead to hateful attitude. In this situation at home, my brother and I had a disagreement, creating tension or hatred towards the both of us. While at school, my friend and I have different ideas where we can't agree on one, so we start to have hateful attitude towards each other. Both of these situations has an effect on others. At home, after I fight with my brother, I usually hurt his feelings because of some of the words that I said might have been hurtful to him. In this situation, it damages my relationship with my brother because we are usually distant after the argument. We do apologize for our mistakes to avoid ruining our relationship. My brother definitely feels disrespected because I'm supposed to be treating him with respect since he is older than me. So I do end up apologizing first to show my respect to him. While at school, after I argue with my group mates, I might unintentionally hurt their feelings because of some of the things I say. But I do end up apologizing to them if I went too far. It damages my relationship with them because we might have hatred towards each other after the argument. This might make my group mates feel disrespected because I don't hear out their opinion and they also don't hear out my opinion. Even though there are a lot of effects to others, there's also some effects to myself. After arguing with my brother, I usually feel sad because of the things he says. My brother and I usually get scolded by our parents and are told to apologize to each other and be grateful that we both have each other. After we fight, our relationship usually improves because we learn to be grateful for each other. From this experience, I learned that I need to be grateful for my brother because not everyone has a sibling. At school, after arguing with my group mates, I usually feel mad because they are usually stubborn. The consequences from this situation is we wasted time because we were supposed to work and instead we were arguing. Our relationship usually improves because we learn how to solve problems quickly, so we no longer have to argue. From this experience, I learned to be more open-minded about others' ideas or opinions so I can avoid conflict with everyone. Next, I will reflect on my growth. From these experiences, I tried my best to be patient and control my anger to avoid hurting others' feelings. I also apologized for my mistakes, which helps the tension to disappear. There are also things that I need to improve, which is my choice of words. I need to learn how to express my feelings in a more gentle and patient way so others won't get hurt by my words. I also need to be more open-minded about others' opinions so an argument or conflict can be avoided. Next is my future response. In the future, if these situations happen again, I will think what I will say before saying it to the person to avoid hurting their feelings. I also want to control my feelings so I won't be easily upset and angry to others. Lastly, I want to hear out other people's ideas to avoid conflict. The reason for all of this is because I don't want to cause problems because of the way I approach a certain situation. I also don't want to create tension between anyone. If conflict can be avoided, I don't want to create one. Instead, I want to have peace with everyone and live with less conflict and stress. From now on, I will learn to stop being the problem and start being the solution. Next, I will be explaining about my biblical Christian worldview. So, number one, I have answered that God loves us and welcomes humans because they are His most perfect creation. He created us according to His image and wanted us to love others like He has loved us. We also need to find love in God so we can start to love others as well. Because of sin, we fall and become further away from God. God loves us, so He fixed our image and wants us to start sharing His love. According to the WKA, striving for shalom, we need to strive for peace among our society before the second coming of God. Next, I'm going to answer number 2, which is after understanding that God loves humans, humans also need to love everyone and share God's love. We need to start creating peace among our society before the second coming of Christ. So we need to start striving for shalom throughout our lives while waiting for Jesus to come for the second time. One thing we shouldn't do is creating a burden for someone else. Instead, we should carry each other's burden like God has carried our burden. Lastly, we need to show love according to the verse 1 Corinthians 13 verse 4 until 5. It tells us more about love and what is love. Next, I'm going to answer number 3, which is I understand that God created us perfectly according to His image, so we must treat everyone with kindness and learn to apply striving for shalom throughout our lives. I also think that I need to start creating peace with the society, so when it is time for God to come for the second time, the world will be already at peace. That is all for my video. I hope we all can learn something new, and until next time, bye.